You cannot afford to miss a single moment of the next hour. Get ready to have your ideas about sexuality, love, and relationships blown wide open. It's time to get educated, entertained, and enlightened, as well as sexually empowered. You have now tuned into the Tantra Love, Sex, and Intimacy Show. Now, here's your host, Tanja Diamond.
Hello, everybody. Thank you, everybody, for being here. You know, as usual, I'm excited and grateful, and it's not because it's sunny. Why does everybody say that to me? Are you happy it's sunny? No, because I bring the sun. I'm happy all the time. In fact, Gary and I were just sitting here talking about it might even be a little too warm. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, we're a little bit of a heat wusses. You know, we bring our own heat. We're so hot that any added heat just smokes us out.
I like that. That's good.
That's what it's all about.
I'll roll with that.
All right. So right now, in the studio this evening, very lucky for me, I'm surrounded by beautiful men everywhere. And, that's kind of the cool thing about my life. I have with me this evening, as guests on my show, part of the Team Tantra, which is now up to 6. So I have 6 assistants now. And who I have with me tonight is Ren. Say hi, Ren.
Hello, everybody.
And Johnny.
Hey, everybody.
We have no idea what we're going to talk about. This is their first time on the radio virgins, and we'll just see what we roll with. These guys, you guys started Team Tantra, really. Yeah, you need to just speak on the radio. But I mean, really, it was because of you guys Team Tantra started, right?
Yeah, well, pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. Because, I was just flying solo there, doing my own thing, and all of a sudden, there were you guys saying, hey, we're going to be your
entourage. Got no choice.
That's right. And I said, you don't have a choice, we're your entourage now. And the theme for this whole beginning of this year for me, has been about receiving. And, Tantra is a dance, and it's about giving and receiving. And certainly, I was not really being in a very good receiving role. And so these two guys came along and basically have kind of busted open those things that I was holding closed about receiving into my business and into my life. And Johnny is the dark-haired one. If you go to my Facebook and look, you'll actually, on the skateboard, you'll find picture of these guys just in their jeans, which is really nice to look if you want to know who you'll be hearing, the voices you'll be hearing tonight. But Johnny kind of was the instigator of this because how long have we known each other, Johnny?
Around 3 years or so.
About 3 years. And how did that happen? Tell us a little bit about your story.
Gosh, I moved out to Seattle when I was about 18, fresh out of high school, and had to get away from Wenatchee. Grew up in Wenatchee, Washington, small little town, apple capital of the world, and moved out with about $250 in my pocket and had to make about $1,200 by the next month. So I just crammed all these jobs, had 2 or 3 jobs at a time, and started taking intimacy courses and sexual confidence courses because that's, I was working so many jobs and I was having a horrible time with the ladies and everything. So
you were having a horrible time with the ladies? How's that possible?
I know.
You should see him.
Got caught up in my work life. Anyways, so I started taking classes and I ended up meeting you along the way. And I don't know, there's tons of teachers that I went to, but you were the one who resonated most deeply, and I found most wisdom, and I liked how you simplified.
Yeah, I'm all about the simplicity. Yeah.
And that resonated with me at a deep level. So I kept going to your classes, and here we are.
Yes, and I remember in one particular one, and I don't think that was the first time we met, at the Discover You, was it Northwest Dating Expo?
Yeah.
Was that the first one?
No, that was the second or third.
Yeah, and you stepped up to be my demo model, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was really brave. Mm-hmm. I said, I need a demo model, and he's like, okay. And I'm sure it was quite scandalous because you were... 21, 20?
Johnny's never been
shy. 20, 21, yeah.
He's never been shy? No. Yeah, he wasn't. He stepped right up. And what I was really impressed by is that afterwards, he hung around after class and, basically said, hey, I want to be on board with what you're doing and however I can serve you. And he was so earnest and so sincere that it really, really struck me. It really struck a chord. I mean, it definitely did not forget who he was. After that moment, just being there to, I think he might have even used the word to serve. and very humble and very, very earnest. That's what I really could say about him. And so how did you end up talking Ren here into jumping on board?
Boy, well, let's see. Ren and I have known each other for years and years and years, and grew up in the same town together, went to school together. And I actually, when I moved out to Seattle, I was here for about 2 years, and I had to move back to Wenatchee, family and financial issues. And so moving back, I ended up moving in with Ren. He gave me a roof over my head, which I'm ever thankful for. And him and I just started talking, and he jumped on the spiritual path, and I told him about Tantra and what little I knew about it at the time, and he jumped right on board. No questions asked, really. I kind of showed him a few classes, kind of showed him your site and what you did, and he was all for it. So.
And Ren, you come from a very different kind of background. I mean, people would be really surprised to find out the background that you came from and to be so open and jump on board here. So tell us kind of a little bit about your spiritual background before this.
Yeah, prior to this, I grew up in I had a lot of families growing up, didn't have my real father and mother weren't around, so I just kind of bounced from family to family. They primarily were extremely strong Christians, kind of held me in the box of the Christian morals and all the standards that they put onto you, going to church every Sunday and Wednesday, and that was my lifestyle. And then I got blessed with a family to come live in Seattle for all summer and all weekends during school, so it opened me up a lot to a lot of spiritual movement that was going on in Seattle. Just met a lot of cool people, interesting lifestyles, and I've always been generally interested in everyone's life and really, really passionate about women, really passionate about helping men become better lovers of women.
He loves women, so he wants to help those guys out.
Yeah, help them out. It helps the women out, so it's all good. But as far as how I came into Tantra, too, is Johnny was showing me the emails. When he first moved in, I was like, oh, yeah, Tantra sounds like voodoo.
What's that voodoo stuff, man?
Yeah, exactly. Then I started reading Tanya's emails, and I actually went on her site, too, and did some research, and she has some pretty incredible stuff. She just broke it down and made it extremely simple. It has nothing to do with the religion. It's all philosophy, and it's just a life philosophy. It's how to better yourself, how to live at your fullest potential and full integrity, which is what my Christian background comes from, is living in full integrity and being honest in everything you do. I mean, work and play and any part of your life. It's really about just being honest and living in your integrity.
So it doesn't really seem too...
I think it's a missing key in Christianity. I think that's what all the Christians are missing. They talk about it and they preach about it and on, but they actually don't live it. So, and in my experience.
Well, I've done a few stints in church before, and I've seen people sitting balancing their checkbooks and doing that type of thing. And it's the same thing that I talk about when somebody goes out and practices yoga for an hour a week, or they practice sitting Zen for an hour a day, and the rest of the 23 hours they're unconscious. It's the same thing. If we go to church or any type of prayer or any type of devotion, but we're only showing up for it in a small section of our lives, we're not really embracing it. We're just giving it lip service. So I prefer those micro practices of spirituality, whether it be prayer or Zen or yoga or anything like that, that we're actually using micro practices throughout our day so that we have a better chance of staying more in consciousness and adding to our consciousness. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, I definitely agree with the micro practices. Actually, breathing has been a big thing for me because I did practice Zen once a week and sitting for an hour. And I mean, that's immensely powerful. But what's more powerful is what I've noticed is breathing consciously throughout the day has definitely amped up my consciousness towards everything and being fully present in most everything instead of just, waiting for next Wednesday to come. And then you're like, oh, I got to sit for an hour.
Wednesday, I'll be present.
And that's the problem, too. When Wednesday comes around, well, if something happens, I mean, there's so many times that we were going to go to Zen practice and we didn't make it because this happened. So I had to wait 2 weeks and unconscious for 2 weeks and
waiting for
that 1 hour.
Waiting for that moment. So I'm definitely not downing, and nobody here is downing anybody's religious practice, because
no, not at all.
Really what I want to do when I help people embrace Tantra is not take anything away from your life, but continue to add to your life. Mm-hmm. And Tantra is not a religion, it's a life philosophy, at least the way it's practiced in the West. I mean, one could say that I've heard people say, oh, Tantra is a religion. Well, Tantra is a school, really classically, and there are very few people that are ever going to teach anything classically Tantra. what most people are learning, be it Neo-Tantra, which is all about sexual techniques of Tantra and breathwork, or what my group tends to teach, which is really the spiritual concepts of being in presence, being in integrity, that type of thing, being conscious to the moment, understanding that every breath you take, every breath that leaves your body has an intention, whether you've placed it there or not. It has an intention. So you ask yourself, what are you focusing on? And you know then, because what you're focusing on is the intention of your out-breath. Meaning, if you're focusing on anger and you're focusing on the things you don't have and you're focusing on how crappy everything is, your out-breaths have that intention. So that's what you're sending out into the world. And in a world today where a lot of people think it's in a lot of trouble, I think if we focus on like economic decline and these type of things, we send more of that out into the world with every breath we exhale.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
I definitely agree. When I started my business, I was distributing, or I was retailing bamboo clothing, and I was selling out of my car, kind of like a gypsy. And everybody's talking about how bad the economy is. Shoot, I was selling $100 or more a day out of my car. And people are like, "Oh, the economy's bad." I'm like, "Only your economy is bad if you think it's bad. It's my economy is fine."
Exactly. And you guys were just able to move right over here to Seattle. Jobs into an apartment, boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
No problem.
No problem, really.
Right.
Taught us how to manifest.
Manifest and demons.
Right. Yeah, it is all really about the intent and the focus and what you put out there. And so you guys are young.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Fairly, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, young in body age, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some would say.
Some would say. And older in spirit. And so the young men that are out there today, I think they're kind of in trouble. What do you guys think?
Well, they don't have any role models to follow. A lot of our dads weren't exactly there. Even if they were good providers and everything, they weren't good role models. In a sense, mine's a great provider, but he's not a great role model. And a lot of men that were growing up, and I don't. My mom and dad are still together, so I don't know what it's like to be in having a stepmom or stepdad or anything like that. But I've been around a lot of families like that, and the kids are they just don't know which direction to go. So we start making up our own path, and we start living from movies or taking advice from people that don't really know what they're talking about, and that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's definitely, our generation's having a tougher time right now with the relationship issues and issues related to life, yeah.
Well, if you don't have a family, I mean, there's very few families that are actually, I don't know if there is a good family, a good role model of a family anymore. If you go to schools, they don't teach you much. I was blessed to go to college at a young age. I didn't have to do the whole high school thing. They don't teach you anything about real life. They don't teach you about relationships. They teach you a little bit about finances, but even that is pretty basic. It doesn't really get you out into the real world. That's where I see the biggest problem. All my friends, they don't have any of the training. I mean, I'm blessed with good training, and still I don't have it together yet. Still got lots and lots to learn.
Well, part of what we've been embarked on as this team, these wonderful assistants have entered my life, and what we're calling Team Tantra, is that we're all working on impeccability, which is really interesting considering we started working on impeccability and then found out that Don Ruiz Miguel is going to be in town tomorrow night, and we're all going to go see him. So if Don Miguel Ruiz. Did I say it the other way around? Yeah.
I got you.
The dude, the Four Agreements dude, the Four Agreements dude, rare appearance tomorrow night at the Center for Spiritual Living on Sandpoint Way. There's a plug for him. He and I hear that it's sold out, and the part of my team is going to be there tonight. So if you all wonder, hey, I wonder if I'd ever meet them anywhere or run into them. We're going to be there, and if you recognize us, you can come over and say hi. We don't bite. We'll be happy to talk to you.
Not hard, at least, no.
No, we're not biting too hard. We're staying at a level 5. 7 is drawing blood. We're staying at the 5. Nibblers.
Friends of Nibbler.
Excellent. And so what we've been working on is impeccability and integrity. What does that look like? I mean, most people look at me and go, oh my God, you live such an integritous life. Is that a word? I don't know. It is now. And, where in the world would you still have to work on things? Well, let me tell you. You sit down and you make yourself a list of things that make you go, ugh, or ee, or and not in a good way. We're not talking those things that make you go, no. The other things. Yeah. And if you really sit down, and it might be as random as, and if you're out there, Mark Anderson, I'm looking for you. If if Mark Anderson is out there and anybody knows Mark Anderson, who used to love Torinos, okay, and knew a chick named Tanja Diamond, alert him that I'm looking for him. That's 20 years ago. This guy lent me $2,000 to start a business, one of my first businesses. And, I was paying him back, and I got a bookkeeper, and I said, hey, Mark, can you send my bookkeeper an invoice, take care of all this? And he's like, yes, and he never did, and it never got taken care of. And at that point in my life, I was kind of like, well, he's not stepping up. What's the dude? He's not making it happen. Wrong. That would be hear that, Mark. That's my issue that I should have taken care of. So I have been actually looking for you probably for the past 10 years, and I'm still looking. So somebody tell Mark Anderson to find me. You guys have things that make you go, eh?
My things are just day to day focusing on my diet to be, a health level I want. No more McDonald's, that kind of stuff.
Bye McDonald's.
Going to the gym when I think, when I schedule time and actually making it there and putting the effort out, not coming up with excuses.
Yeah, excuses are really what the killer. I mean, we can all come up with a million excuses for a million different things, and they're readily available today. I'm busy. I mean, I don't think anybody's busier than I am, quite frankly, really. If you saw my whiteboard, you'd go, whoa, okay. But still, I can sit there and say, oh, I'm busy, but I'm not really busy doing something, hugely important.
I'm busy being lazy right now.
I'm busy looking at my whiteboard going, God, I'm busy. Man, I'm just so incredibly busy. Yeah, exactly. Talking about how busy you are. Johnny, you got anything?
Yeah, I mean, mine has been my lack of discipline and focus, and it's like, Zen helped out a lot with that, just focusing, and that's always been an uphill battle I've been struggling with, and it's getting better and better every day. But that, my diet, we're gonna get a juicer, start eating a lot better, a lot. I mean, our bodies are our temple. You got to take care of it, or else it's not going to be able to carry the spirit too far.
These guys have awesome bodies, but you can still say it can get better, right?
It can always be better.
Inside thing.
Always be better. Yeah, it's you can put me on a treadmill, I can maybe run like a mile or two, and I'm dead. As before I could run 8 or 9 and be fine. It may look fine, but we're not. Still.
Right, and we're going to have extremely busy lives. I mean, we're gearing up. Things are really happening in our world, and taking this show on the road next year. Things are really happening. There is not going to be any time to be sitting around saying, wow, we're busy, because, we're busy, and we're only going to get busier. So that's why we're working on bringing it now. When you look at your list, when you sit down and look at your impeccability list, and, you have to be really brutal. You have to really look and say, those things that, and there are things that, like, maybe you're not paying your bills on time. Maybe you're paying them 2 weeks late, but every time you think about it, you go, or your taxes, or something you're not doing that every time you think about it, you don't feel good. That's energy that's going out to the past instead of moving you forward in the future. And I posted about this on Facebook, and people really liked that. They were like, yeah, okay. So if and when, so now you will be, right now, writing your list, if you're listening, writing your list out, you'll start to see a theme in your list. I look at my list, and I've been one of those people that just creates money. Now, notice I didn't use the word make. I managed to create money whenever I need it, and it can be huge amounts of money or small amounts of money. But what I came to realize is that this money that I create isn't always by my endeavor. It might be somebody else saying, oh, Tanya, you need some money here, which, sounds awesome, doesn't it? Here's this woman who said, hey, Tanya, you need $60,000. Here you go.
That sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, that's awesomely cool, except that I started to realize, wait a minute, every one of those things still leaves me not feeling so great. It makes me say, wow, how cool is that somebody would step up for me like that? But it doesn't leave me feeling, I somehow, I feel obligated, or I have some type of attachment or tie to that. So this year I turned that around. My manifesting list, or my financial declaration, looks very differently, because it's not just I always make the amount of money that I need, because that's how my life's been. It just drops out of the sky. Maybe it's a car wreck settlement or whatever. This year it's about money that I make and I create from my personal and business endeavors. And that's kind of changed things around. So when I look at my impeccability list and my integrity list, it tends to revolve around finances and not being in complete respect, not getting everything paid on time, having some loose ends here and there. And so that's really what I'm working on right now is looking at that theme that reoccurs. So any themes, guys, when you were looking at your list?
Diet was, for both of us, diet.
Diet and discipline, just getting focused on. We got plenty to study in the next couple of years, and we'll never stop learning, but this first couple of years got a lot of foundation to set.
You guys are on the fast track.
Yeah.
Hit the ground running now.
We hit the ground running Mach speed. It was it wasn't just running.
Warp speed. Warp speed. Well, you guys bring a lot of knowledge with you already, intrinsically, and as you're studying and hanging around me and being with the team. And already much more men than most of the men walking the earth. But that discipline, that's a huge thing.
That's the hardest part. I mean, that's a hurdle for not only us, but I mean, a lot of America has been disciplined, getting where they want to go and doing it, actually doing it, and setting their goals up and just achieving. And I could blame it on being an '80s baby around technology and having that ADD wave coming through, but really it just comes down to just sitting down, focusing, doing what you need to do, and just doing it.
Nike says it perfect. Just do it.
Just do it. Yeah, Nike's really got it down. Just do it. Look what that happened. I mean, Nike has an empire now just because of that saying.
Right.
Just do it. Now look at shoes everywhere.
Right. And doing it is it's too easy, especially with the computer, right? To get distracted.
Oh yeah,
very easy.
I'm on the computer and I'm doing it, and then I'm over here doing something else, and wow, I'm over here doing something else.
YouTube's a lot more fun.
YouTube. Wow, look at YouTube. Do you guys see that cool video on YouTube? Wow, check out this link. Yeah, it can very easily, especially working on the computer and doing that, get lost in that. I used to have a little sticky note on my computer that said I think it was every 45 minutes that I worked, I got 5 minutes of, browsing or whatever. And I would stick to that. Yeah, and that worked pretty well. So I had my reward. 45 minutes. I'm just busting it out.
I think that's what we need to do, Johnny.
Yeah.
Get stuck on Hulu for a couple hours sometimes.
Right, and I mean the thing is you can fool yourself into saying, especially you're learning something, right?
You're always learning something.
I mean, we're always learning stuff.
But is it on your focus list? Yeah, exactly.
Right, but is it on that list you made last night before you went to bed of things you were going to get done today?
Mm-hmm.
So that's the big thing. We can all learn from that, and especially, I mean, this translates into relationships as well. People just think about business, but if your relationship is supposed to be the most important thing you have in your life, I mean, that's what most people say about it anyway, or they think about it, and yet the relationship takes the back burner to everything else in life for most people. I was on the radio up in Canada on Tuesday morning, I think it was, or Wednesday morning. And apparently they had like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of phone calls in as I was talking about, I haven't heard it yet, but the theme was talking about relationships and couples and the ability to bring a couple back to intimacy within a few hours. So there was lots of people calling up and wanting help. And so I'm having a couples class in Vancouver, couples intimacy class in Vancouver on this Saturday, and there's still room. So if that's something that interests you, get to my learningtantra.com website under workshops and sign up and get there. But it's, people just say, I just don't have the time. I don't have the time for my relationship. It's like, well, how long is the relationship going to last?
If you don't have the time for it, it's not going to last too long. As much as you love the person, I mean, you got to make the time. That's the thing. Is you got to manifest the time, and it's cutting out a few of those things that aren't necessary.
Like Hulu.
Like Hulu, YouTube.
YouTube. Yeah. Porn.
Facebook sometimes. Facebook takes up a lot of my time, so I used to. I cut my Facebook addiction down. MySpace is gone. Facebook is limited.
The things that we need. And if it comes to, actually making those Post-it notes that only give yourself, we give some people are really good with their kids. They get 30 minutes of TV a day, and they put the timer on. And the kid can watch that. I think people need to do that on their computers, too.
No, honestly, right?
I'm going to surf for this long, and that's it. Our whole life, Team Tantra is a lot of computer work, just like most people's are these days. And just staying focused with our whiteboards. We are going to go ahead and take a short break and be back talking with Ren and Johnny and Tanja and finding out more about what it is we're doing. We'll see you in a few.
Is your sex life non-existent? Do sexual dysfunctions leave you soft? Is internet porn getting more than you are? Or are you paying more attention to porn than your partner? Have you tried talk therapy and it got you nowhere? You are not alone. You can be freed from sexual shame, guilt, and dissatisfaction. A visit to the Tantra teacher is in order. Call now and mention you heard the Tantra teacher on the radio and get a very special offer. Stop waiting for a miracle and call right now. 206-276-2735. Phone consultations or in person will get you the information you need to be successful in your love life. But you have to call now. 206-276-2735. Stop making excuses. Call the Tantra teacher. 206-276-2735.
Hello, this is James Arthur Ray, and you are listening to the best network online, Contact Talk Radio.
Are you one of the 40 million sexless couples in the U.S.? Are you wondering why having sex leaves you feeling lonely? Are you suffering from the myths of sexual dysfunction? Do you know in your heart that there has to be more than what you're currently getting out of making love? To rid yourself of sexual ignorance, get more out of your lovemaking, and find out more about spiritual sexual connection, then you need to check out www.thetantrateacher.com to receive your free copy of the ebook called Secrets of the Tantra Teacher. Don't suffer another minute without the sexual loving and ecstatic bliss you were born to receive. Get to www.thetantrateacher.com right now. That's www.thetantrateacher.com.
This is ContactTalkRadio.com. Consciousness in action.
Now is your chance to be part of the show. Call 877-230-3062. Call in with your questions or thoughts and talk with the host and their guest. Again, that number is 877-230-3062.
I had to find something different for the show.
I just love you, Gary. Gary always gives me a beautiful intro to come into, laughing with whatever he's come up with. I remember that. What was that from?
The dating game.
Oh, the dating game.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, it was perfect.
Yeah, that is perfect. That is perfect. Yeah, when you start getting at the waka 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 guitars, I'm gonna like a little bit worried. So we're back. I'm with Ren and Johnny from part of my team Tantra, and we're talking today about stuff and things, something really important and spiritual, I'm sure. Impeccability, integrity, and all of that
So
kind of
that's
stuff.
and things,
Yeah.
not stuff and things.
No, we're not stuffing things.
Stuff and things.
Stuff and things.
There we
Thank
go.
you very much. A little bit of diction there. Exactly. We are all working on being always the best that we can be. I don't believe anybody's ever there or perfect. Certainly, I don't think that's part really of the plan. I think part of the plan is that enlightenment is the process of living. I don't think enlightenment is the thing you get to. And so consequently, what we do, as keep working on ourselves, as we help other people in the world, we keep working on the things that peeling the layers of the onion. And my personal spiritual practice is breath work and impeccability. Standing to higher and higher standards of integrity and impeccability. What does that look like? So, like I said earlier, we've all made our lists, and we're getting our action plans together of how those, now that we have the list of things that make us go, ugh, and not in the good way, working on what the action plans to clean that up. And so what I would suggest, and what I'm going to do with my team, is I'm going to give everybody an accountability buddy. So we're all going to break up into teams of 2, and each person will have a person that they're accountable to, and they give their list, their integrity or lack of working on integrity list, and their action plan, and then work it back and forth with each other. What do you guys think about that?
It's definitely going to help having someone, and also not just having someone there with you on your journey, but to listen to what they're going through. It helps me, I know, also to be able to talk about when I'm giving someone advice, I'm actually giving myself the advice too at the same time. Just when you listen to yourself speak, it's amazing how much wisdom comes out of your mouth.
For other people.
Yeah. It's like, oh, I'm
wow, that sounds cool. Wow, that sounds really cool. Maybe I should do that.
Well, yeah, if you give advice, you got to live it yourself. I mean,
well, yeah, one would hope, and I mean that's what I get told a lot of is, wow, you really are, you're really walking your talk. Well, yeah. Well, that's the whole point, isn't it?
it is the point.
Yeah. What about you, Johnny? What do you think?
Oh yeah, I've had a few teachers along the way that were, do as I say, not as I do. And I go, wait a second here. Wait a second. I don't want that kind of role model. And so that's what I definitely admire about you, Tanja, is you definitely do as I say and do as I do, which is also awesome. That's where I definitely want to live. So it's having a partner is it's like having a mirror. You're talking to yourself essentially. I mean, that's how I see it. Is, you have this person that has similar problems or similar. Everything's universal. Everything is just, it's linked. You can't get out. Connected. There we go.
Connected.
Everything's connected. So I mean, you can't vary off too far from yourself when you're talking to somebody, because it's your own experience and your own universal wisdom that you're giving this person, and it's just staying conscious of that. And sometimes people don't realize they have it until they say it, and that's just the other person's going to allow a facet for them to speak their mind or speak their truth. And if I've done it many times where I'm just like, oh my God, really? I know
that came out of my mouth. Wow, how cool is that?
And then it's just applying that and living in that. And so, I think having a partner is definitely going to be really, it has been a really great thing along my path along the way. Is having many friends and family to talk to has been I'm able to quantum leap because of it.
Right. And people have asked me. I mean, you guys are young. You're in your early 20s. And other than asking me if you're legal when I'm using you as demo models, they've asked me, what is it these guys have to share? I mean, it's not like they've got 40 years of wisdom here behind them. So, Ren, starting with you, we heard that you love women, which is awesome. We love men that love women. And what do you envision that you are now, and of course, obviously growing and continuing to grow into doing for the world, and is it just men or women? I mean, tell us why. Why would I call you and say, Ren, I need your help. What can you do for me?
Well, I'm very, very passionate about just helping others with any issues, like bring them any kind of wisdom and advice I can give them. I'm actively studying. I plan to spend the rest of my life actively studying for the best ways, the best, I guess. That's a good question.
He's like, you've already had a business background.
Yeah.
You ran your own company with men, under you.
I've been blessed. My philosophy from when I was young, probably started working when I was 11 on a farm, and when I turned 15, when I wasn't working for my farm family, I was going from job to job, and I left every job on good terms. I could go back to any job I worked. So it's really, I didn't work a job that I didn't feel like I could commit the rest of my life to for more than 6 months. And it's just so I could keep growing and not ever be stalled. And I worked a variety of jobs, managed construction companies, managed large multi-million-dollar projects, ran a couple of my own companies, and made a lot of mistakes.
Well, that's it. What I tell people when they say to me, "Well, Tanja, you haven't been in a 20-year relationship. How in the world are you going to help me in mine?" And I'm like, "Hey, I know every single way a relationship can go wrong because I've had them do it." And I'll tell you what, the mistakes that I've seen and the mistakes that I've made will definitely help me help you to not make those mistakes. And so part of what I look for in team members are people that have made mistakes and actually learn from them. Because if you haven't made the mistakes, you don't know what's happening with other people in the world.
Starting to get wiser, though, and learn from other people's mistakes now.
Hey, look what he's doing. Well, that's I'm a little hard-headed that way. I still have to get hit in the head with my own bricks, but that certainly works. And and what you also bring is integrity, impeccability. Working through these processes at a young age, and that says a lot right there. You guys had your party phase.
We did.
and you've given that up.
Yep.
We have no more drugs, no more alcohol.
Nothing. It's actually a lot more fun because now I find us walking from our job to go like to a teriyaki place for lunch. And we just like laugh about anything. It's like it's just so funny. I don't even know what's funny. I'm just laughing.
They're living in joy and bliss, having a good time.
Natural highs.
Having a good time.
Exactly. And so, Johnny, what are you bringing here? You've got some. You've been studying Taoism.
Taoism found me 3 years ago when I first moved to Seattle. Taoism was bestowed upon me, and I found out that I'm half Chinese, and then I've got the German, French, English, Irish, Scottish, whatever mix. So I come with a Eastern and a Western background, and the Eastern philosophy started finding me about 3 years ago when I started waking up. I was 19 when I started waking up and finally figured out that I can actually do something in this world. And so I Taoism found me. I've studied that for the last 3.5 years, the Tao Te Ching, just reading that on a mostly daily basis, just reading the wisdom, because it's so profound, and it's 81 pages, but each day is a page. And no page. Every time I reread over it, it's different because my life journey has changed so immensely from the last 81 days. And so that has been an immense blessing. And I've actually found out that on the Asian side of my family, Taoism and Buddhism run deep in the lineage. So in that, so that's really cool. And then that found me. Taoism found me. Zen Buddhism found me. All these things, all these monks and everything have just kind of wandered into my life, and I think without knowing it, I've manifested a lot of them. And so I come with a lot of Eastern philosophy is my background, a lot of universal wisdom from there, and a lot of the stuff. My mom is a natural Taoist, that whether she knows it or not, she doesn't practice it at all, but her life is exactly what the book talks about. The more I pay attention to it, my dad's more like a white Buddha. It's kind of crazy.
The white Buddha in his recliner.
Yeah, exactly. Looks like Santa Claus, but.
So, what do you want to help people with? What's?
I want to help people wake up. I want them to just be like, oh, you know what? I'm not satisfied with my life, and then actually taking action and doing something about it. It's like.
No more whining wussies.
It's like
this whining. I don't have any passion in my life. I don't have any love. It's like, then get up, wake up.
Exactly. It's liberating people, just teaching them how to breathing consciously, being conscious in general, just making their own actions. I don't know how I lived before 19. Everything, I try to think about it, it's all a blur. Everything was like on autopilot. I'm like, I had no idea. Yeah, I didn't control my own actions, my own thoughts. I think everything was, I felt like a zombie. Not while I was in it, but as I look back at it, I'm like, I had to have been a zombie because I can't think of any conscious action I made really before 19 and after 19, after I started working on my breathing and actually asking myself questions, then finally did I start, consciously making my own decisions and starting making waves in them. Now I'm on a radio,
Look, they're on a radio. They're on a radio station.
You ask yourself that really define who you are. You got to be able to sit back and ask those questions, and then even if you don't have the answer, you work towards them.
Or find somebody who does.
True.
Who's working on asking the questions. I've told both these guys, I said, you've got the teacher sitting in front of you. You got to be proactive. You got to go after it. You don't just sit there and go, I wonder when she'll speak to me. Ask the questions. Mm-hmm. Come up, grab me. What is the answer to this? I don't know. Let's look at YouTube. We love The Lonely Island, by the way. We love those guys. Just two guys. I'm on a boat, just in my pants. If you hit YouTube and check any of those out, dick in a box. Yeah, these are the things that we amuse our intellectual adult selves with when we're on our.
Hit down though, 5 minutes an hour.
Can I get them all in 5 minutes? I don't think so. I'll have to spread them out. Yeah, the intellectual time that we're having, because. If you're on a spiritual quest and you're not having any fun, I got to tell you, you're probably on the wrong spiritual quest, because really it's about joy and laughter and light as well. And healing doesn't have to be done in pain. Healing can be done in fun as well. So I encourage you that if you're out there and you're on your spiritual quest, and you're scared and you're having lots of fear around your spiritual quest, in other words, you're learning about fear. Somebody's saying, oh, don't do this, don't do that. Oh, if you do that, that'll be scary. Oh, my God, don't do that. You might want to rethink that. And once again, I'm going out on a limb here. I'm going to offend a lot of people in the spiritual realm when I say that when teachers teach you to be afraid, I think there should be fear of the teacher. Don't do that. Don't be afraid. Really, that's not really empowering. So there's my thought for the day. And you might notice on my Facebook that my spelling apparently looks atrocious as I'm looking at my Facebook right now. Forgive that. Usually I'm typing very fast on my way doing something at Mach 1. Okay, you guys, first of all, I think you guys are amazing. I know neither one of you have necessarily come from, great backgrounds. People are going to say, oh, well, these guys, they've probably, had it made and they've got everything's really groovy for them. And so it's easy for them to just sit there and go, yeah. That's not true. That's not
at all.
Not true at all. Anybody want to share that, you've actually created something for yourself from the ashes, so to speak?
Yeah. In my life, I've been extremely blessed. So, thank the universe and bring me more. I grew up without a mom and just a workaholic dad. So I lived with my grandparents when I was young and been adopted into, I think, 5 families now. And I was more blessed that way than most people, as I've had more than enough family. They taught me, that's where most of my wisdom comes from, actually, is just all my different families. A lot of them are extremely high in their integrity, and that's what they taught me. And but yeah, as far as money and all that stuff goes, I had to pay for everything since I was 12. My first car, my school clothes. If I wanted to play sports, I had to provide the money to pay for all that.
And the beginning wasn't that easy because you were just left in your crib a lot of the time by yourself.
Oh, yeah, that was way back when.
Well, that's way back when. And, those programmings, though, are, run deep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you were not necessarily nurtured and cuddled and, all of that start. And you still can look at your life and say, yeah, I was really blessed about these particular things.
Yeah, I guess I just don't focus on that stuff because
right.
It's sad. But
yeah, it is sad. And that's what we're working on, some of the healing to going through that. But it wasn't all rosy. How you've chosen to look at a lot of it.
Yeah. Make stuff happen, and I was born with the drive just to succeed, and now my drive's gone to more to help people succeed. I can succeed for myself, but really the passion comes in when I help other people and show them how to do it for them. A lot of people weren't born with it, so.
And Johnny?
Yeah, I grew up, actually I had a lot of attention as a kid until my younger sister came.
Then you just kind of ran the woods wild.
Then I was just stealing her bottle. Actually, my dad, I'd steal my little sister's bottle, and I would go hide under the crib, and my dad had to listen for the sucking sound. And then he would find me, and he actually traumatized me by breaking the bottle over his knee.
Oh, no.
In front of both of us, so both of us were crying.
Oh, no.
But I was loved a lot as a child.
How many spoons?
Yeah, oh yeah. I got quite a few spankings as a child. I was a little rebellious.
But I think part of what when we talk that I hear from you is nobody really believing in just kind of being an overall screw up.
Well, I started off at 3 playing video games, and that's where I found my love. Is at a young age is just I could lose myself because it was my only friend for a long time was playing video games. And so I just played years and years of video games. And then, when it came to school, they put me in school, and I was so uninterested in school, and I just didn't catch on to what they were teaching, and they didn't teach, I wasn't catching on that I would get bad grades, and people, it wouldn't, it showed a whole line of failures in school. And I had a horrible track record of getting, I think I was like maybe a C average student, maybe, And I knew the material, I did my class lessons, but I wouldn't do my homework. And then I was
playing video games.
Oh yeah, I'd go home and play video games. Make me do something I didn't want to do. That was my rebellious phase. So
right. I went through school, and when I was in grade school, they made me do second grade twice, and I was reading all my reports, and they said, Tanya's a really pleasant person or pleasant girl. She just, I just don't know if the school thing is so much for her. It went that way for a long time until I was in 6th grade when a teacher said, we should test her. Ooh, we should put her in 9th grade. So I think, sometimes people look at their past like that and they go, oh, woe is me.
Yeah.
Nobody loved me. Nobody believed in me. I wasn't any good in school. Blah, 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 these things, life was tough. I didn't have any friends, that type of thing. And if you buy into that and you decide that that's how you're going to live it, then that's what you're going to have. And we started this whole hour with, what you focus on is what you breathe out into the planet. Mm-hmm. These are exceptional young men who are going to set the world on fire and show the younger generation that regardless of what it was that happened in your life, you are ultimately in charge of your actions that propel you into the world now.
Exactly. Well, I mean, I believe that people were, Johnny, you're a failure. You can't get good grades. You're going to hold you back because you're not smart enough to be in that next grade. I held on to those, for a longest time, and I eventually, it's just like, no, that's not who I am. I can break these shackles. I have the power. I'm pro-choice. Come on.
Pro-choice. We're living our lives now.
But I mean, that's what you got to do. Is you got to just, those are the past. But this coincides with my Zen practice. You can't dwell on the past. You create your own future. You're taking the steps on your journey.
As long as it isn't always saying, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, oh, yeah. I'm sorry, because you keep doing the same excuses. Excuse me. No. I mean, you keep living the same thing over and over again. Then you got to think about your past and look at what the same pattern is. But, and Ren, you had a whole bunch of things and you lost not that long ago. And you're kind of rebuilding your life as well when the market went crash.
Yeah, never put all your eggs in one basket. All mine were in real estate. I didn't have a lot of eggs, I guess, but yeah, I just kind of I had it all figured out, and I was right there, and then the market fell on its face. But it's all good. I mean, it brought this change, it brought Tanja into my life, and I actually don't even look back. I just take it as a learning lesson, something I can teach other people not to do.
Right. Well, and I mean, that's the thing, is that you struck out, you did amazing things, you're going to be doing more amazing things, but instead of letting that experience totally crush you, you looked and said, oh, okay.
I just use it as a stepping stone. Keep going higher.
Right, exactly. And as we all know, some of these circumstances in our life that happened that at the time seemed to be devastating opened doors to other opportunities.
Well, a lot of that success, too, came from, I really looked at my drive, what my driving forces are, and a lot of it used to be from my trying to get my father to pay attention, and now I just realized that it doesn't matter what he thinks. I got to do stuff for me, and a lot of that real estate stuff and all my school, because I was really academic. I got straight A's through high school and did college early and still got straight A's and B's through that. And it was really just to show my dad the report card and, hey, look, I did a good job. And he's like, yeah, that's nice. now I realized, it doesn't matter. I mean, you got to do it for you. I mean, that's when you actually get fulfillment. You actually feel good and you get the energy from it. That was actually more draining than anything. It's suppressing almost. You get the good grades, or no
matter how hard you tried, he never gave you what you really wanted.
Yeah, and I put all my energy into that, and that was just a waste of time. I actually got to focus energy on myself and be happy with myself, what I'm doing.
I did the same thing, graduating super early from school, going to be a neurosurgeon, so that, my parents would go, look, you're not a screw up. You're totally cool. And all along trying to do things that other people, that I would impress my parents or my parent. I remember, even running a business when I was 23, making a whole lot of money at 23. And my mother would say something to me like, if only you dressed differently, you would be successful. And I'm like, gee, Mom, what, $250,000 a year at 23? This is not successful or what? If only I didn't wear those high-top Converse tennis shoes, then I would be successful. She said, maybe you should wear a suit. Yeah, okay, Mom. So I think that we let the programming from the past hold on to us. Use that as an excuse in some ways as well. Sure. Because we all know people walking around, and I'm thinking of somebody specifically in my life who's walking around who had really a pretty good upbringing compared to a lot of people, had a lot of things, and still manages to make a complete mess out of his life every single turn he makes. So if he's listening, you know who I'm talking about.
Well, the thing is, too, people aren't conscious of it. It's like it was a lot of me talking, and then you pointed out a lot of the things that I wasn't even aware of. I was holding myself back with, and
right. Well, what I said to these guys was, because they're on board here now, and we're all working at being a team, and we're all, for me, it's about receiving all the help, and finding out, am I open to receiving all this help, and leading people that I love. Leading people that I love is a lot tougher than leading people that I'm paying. And so there's growing pain associated with that. And when one of my clients said to me, Tanja, are you telling me that as your client, you hold me more accountable to higher integrity than you do the people you love? it was like slap across the face. Ooh.
Thank you, Ron.
Oh my goodness, Ron. Yeah, Ron, if you're listening, thank you for that. Yeah, that was a kind of a wake-up call. And so, as the high esteem that I hold myself in, the integrity that I want to hold myself in, I need to hold everybody that's on my team into the same place. So you can bet at Team Tantra that we are busting our butts on our personal journeys so that when we are serving you and assisting you, you are getting the highest quality of integrity and impeccability that we have, which is pretty high. Mm-hmm. I will say that already. We've got about 4 minutes left. Is there anything that either of you guys want to say to anybody out there, about your mission or your plan or how excited you are being part of this?
I'm jazzed. I mean, a lot of the things that propelled me forward was actually failing forward. I had to fail to get forward, on a lot of things in my life. Because I've had
no failure, only feedback.
Feedback forward.
That's right.
Zip, zip, zip. So, a lot of my failures, I just had to, it was just a lot of feedback from people, exactly. And it's what's propelled me to, not look at myself as woe is me, look at what, blah, blah, boo, boo, goo, goo. But, it's actually, showed me where my weaknesses were and where my strength needed to be stronger. And it allowed me the opportunity to, better myself so I can better not only myself, but my family, the people around me, so I can be the best me that I can be for everybody, not just myself. And so it's this whole journey has been learning how to not only, be the best quality person I can be, but also walk in my integrity to be a role model for numerous, not only my generation, the generation below me, the generation above me. I want to be a role model for everybody.
Well, and you are. You walk into a room in this huge space of love with beautiful discernment. Johnny helps us realize when we need to bring people on board with us and when we need to cut them loose, because he comes from love, but he doesn't take any excuses. And we love that about him. Mm-hmm. And Ren?
Yeah, I'm just here to serve. I can't wait to change the world. I believe now I have the power to, and going to make it happen. Not going to hold anything back. That's what I've been doing most of my life, is holding back, not living at my fullest potential, not even close to my fullest potential. Just, now I'm ready.
Well, and he was living in a great potential before, so everybody just watch him smoke. And the rest of my team is equally brilliant and wonderful and inspired. And I look at them and think, wow, if this is a mirror, thank you, universe, bring me more. And
they're beautiful. They're beautiful people.
Absolutely beautiful people that we're bringing inside and out and loving it. So we are, we've got classes, we've got coaching programs happening. And if you're listening to this, I am offering, I need six. I need 6 people in the world somewhere to contact me and say, guess what? I want help living in my integrity, because I'm actually going to put you with 6 people with each with one of my team members. So each person that calls me that I pick gets one of my team members to help them out living in their integrity. So if you're hearing this now and you're wanting to get to learningtantra.com, contact us, email me about what's going on with your integrity and why it is you need help. This is no cost to you, help from us, as my way of offering service to the world, and our team offering to the world to get back in integrity where you need to be. So you heard that. Get on the email me, or even Facebook. You can Facebook me. You can Twitter. I'm doing that, all that stuff. It's great. LearningTantra.com is the website. Get on the email list if you're not on there, because that keeps you on alerts, just like the one I'm giving you of free service and that type of thing. Thank you so very much, everybody. I'm completely grateful for all the fans and the phone calls that I received and the emails from people saying, keep up the great work and the great show. It's, it's all about you guys and all of us connecting in the world. So I am living in gratitude, amazement, and living loud every single day. Don Miguel Ruiz. Other way around? Don Ruiz. Miguel. Yeah, Don Miguel tomorrow night. We'll see you there, and I'll see you next week. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
You have been listening to the Tantra Love, Sex, and Intimacy Show with your host, Tanja Diamond. Visit our website at www.tanjadiamond.com. That's TANJA for more information on workshops and classes.